Hi! So hopefully you've watched the basics video and you've enjoyed making some really fantastic loaves. But obviously one of the other key uses for this dough is making pizzas. And again, that couldn't be simpler. So I'm just going to quickly run through how easy it is to use our frozen dough to make great pizzas. Again, I'm going to use the white one here, but it could quite as easily be the multigrain. Either way, pretty much the same process. You're going to get two sort of 10 to 12 inch pizzas out of one of these pieces of dough. So I'm only going to use half of it for now. So I'll cut that piece in half. Been defrosted exactly the same as it is for the bread. So it's exactly the same process. Left in the fridge overnight. Nice piece of defrosted dough. Just going to make the one for now, so I'll put that bit of dough to one side. But you could make two pizzas out of it. You could use that piece of dough to make another smaller loaf, to make some rolls, make a little focaccia. All those ideas you'll see in the other videos as well. But we're just going to make the one for now. So this, I'm going to make a round one. Doesn't have to be round though. You could quite easily just roll that out as a long thin piece and make a rectangular pizza, doing it on a standard baking sheet, etc. But I've got these non-stick baking pizza sheets here, so I'm going to do it on one of those to make a round one. So very simply, all we do to start with is we're going to stretch that and start making it round. You see it starts to stretch out. I've got a rolling pin here which I'll just use to help it along a little bit, but most of this we'll do by hand. And you've got to be a little bit gentle with it. You don't want to make too many holes in it, but you haven't got to be worried too much here. You see it's nice and round, it's getting quite thin, it's got quite a good level of yeast in it, so it will rise up quite a lot. Once you've got it like that, notice no flour on the top. Shouldn't need flour. And then I'm just going to stretch it a bit to make it a little bit wider. And you'll see it's getting bigger all the time, looking good. And as you just, because I've got no flour on the top, it just helps it sort of pin it out. It sticks out a little bit, and we're getting close now to the size of the tray. And if we look at the tray there, not a million miles out. That'll do nicely. Now what I would like to do, and would normally do, and I will a little bit here, is just leave that if you can. Give it literally 2 or 3 minutes, just to let it rest a little bit, and that way it won't shrink back so much. So what you can do, while you're waiting at this point, is put a little oil on there. And I'd always put the oil on. You can do this on the tray, or afterwards, but this one will help the edges go nice and crispy when you put it in that hot oven, and it also helps to stop the base of the pizza soaking in too much of the sauce, so you get a nice crispy base and crispy edge, which works a treat. So we'll use this moment while it's just resting a little on the top to put the oil on. Like I say, you could do that on the tray, and then now we'll take the tray here, and I'm going to pick that up. It will pull back a little bit, and we'll pop that on the tray. Then you can just stretch it to the edge of the tray. And as you can see, it goes quite nicely out to the edge. Hasn't got to go right to the very edge, but get it close. This is a 12-inch tray, so it shows quite nicely how easy it is to make a 12-inch pizza. That'll do nicely. As you can see, it's staying there quite well. There's a 12-inch pizza. I'm now going to dock it. This will just stop any big amounts of rise in there. If you want it to rise, but you don't want it to be a loaf of bread underneath the pizza. So put a bit of docking in there. I've got a docking wheel, makes life easy for me. A fork will do exactly the same job, just like you would on the bottom of your quiche, flan cases, etc. That sort of thing. Once you've got it there, we're going to make a really simple sort of tomato, cheese and salami pizza here, but it could be whatever you want. And again, get the kids involved in making this one. Great fun to make the base, and then they can just pop their own toppings on. Really, really great fun to play with. So I've got simple pizza sauce here. You can make this yourself with just some sort of like chopped tomatoes, herbs, bit of garlic, liquidise them all down, or you can buy a proprietary one from the store, whichever way you find it easiest. Very simple to make, but just simple basic tomato sauce. Make sure you leave that edge a little bit clear. I don't like too much tomato sauce on mine. I like to be able to taste the toppings and just have the tomato sauce as a bit of a counterpoint. So that's enough for me. I'm happy with that. But obviously, it's your pizza. That's the beauty of this. You can have whatever you want. This could be pesto on here if you wanted to. Red pesto, green pesto. Entirely up to you, your choice. We've got it like that. Now, I'm going to pop some cheese on. I've got some mozzarella, but this could again be anything you want. You could put pecorinos on here, you could put blue cheeses, you could put, I love to put a little bit of mascarpone on them to add a little bit of creaminess to the cheese. So you have a little bit of this, maybe a bit of cheddar for extra flavour, add some mascarpone for creaminess. Then I've got some salami here. It could be pepperoni, ham, mushrooms, olives, you name it. Again, what takes your fancy? We'll put all of these on here, might as well use them all. We got them, let's use them. we'll pop them on there. We've got some cherry tomatoes, again, can be sliced. Really, really simple. I'm not going too mad here. Just a nice, simple pizza. I think that'll do, won't it? And then again, just a little bit of cheese left here, so we'll just sprinkle that over the top. And then ideally, what I'm going to do now, you could quite happily put that straight in the oven. It'd be absolutely fine. But if you've got the time and you've got the patience, leave it. Pop it on the side somewhere for 10-15 minutes. Just watch that edge. It will start to just puff up a little bit, and you'll see it starting to rise a tiny bit, and that will just give you that a little bit more aeration in the base, and it'll eat that much better, and you'll get that better crust. So I'm going to pop that over the back here, and I'm going to give it that sort of 10-15 minutes at room temperature, and then we'll have a look at it then and get it popped into the oven. Okay, so our pizza now has had sort of about 10-15 minutes just sitting at the back there in a nice warm room, and you can see the dough's just started to rise now. We've got a few little bubbles forming around the edge where the dough's starting to rise up, and that's fine. That's ready now. Still see the oil on the outside. If you need to, you can put a little bit more on, but we've got enough on there for what we need, and we're now going to pop that in the oven. Key with this is obviously you're going to be limited by how high your oven can go, but pretty much you can't go too hot. So this oven I'm using here goes to 250, so that's what I've cranked it up to. I'll put it up to 250. If you can go a bit hotter, not many domestic ovens can, but some can sort of do 280, then go with that. And you're going to be looking, pretty much go with a visual. Depending on how hot you get it, you're going to be going somewhere between about 8 and 12 minutes at the tops to cook one of these off. So in this oven at 250, probably going to be about 8 minutes. So we'll pop it in for that and see what happens. So here we go, oven's open, just straight onto the tray, on that pizza tray, and in she goes. As I say, that's 250. We're going to leave that for 8 minutes, and then we'll have a look at it in a moment when it comes out, when hopefully you're going to see a really lovely golden brown and very tempting pizza. Okay, so pizza's had 8 minutes in this oven at 250, and looking in there, that is looking really ready. So let's get this out and see what we've got. And there she is. I mean, hopefully you'll agree with me, that is a cracking pizza. You can see how the side has just crisped up really nicely. It's puffed up just enough, so you've got a lovely base on there. Enough base to sort of really add some flavour and texture, but not so much that it's all doughy. So a lovely, beautiful, home-baked pizza. And that could be any topping you want. 2 of those out of 1 of the pieces of dough. Easy peasy.